Hey, hi, hello there, and welcome back to Formula Amateur, where today we'll be doing a massive Formula 2 race rundown. As soon as Monday, we'll be including the F2 race results in the race rundowns, as well as in the future we will also include F3 and F1 Academy, but we will also do race rundowns, big ones for those categories for the Saturday episodes. But for now, let's focus on the F2 racing, shall we? Let's get into it. Before we start, let's talk about who the drivers are and which teams they drive for. So we have 11 teams in F2 and each team has 2 drivers. So let's start with Invicta Racing, which has Leonardo Fornioli and Roman Stanek. And then in Campos Racing, we have Arvid Lindblad and Pepe Marti, full name Josep Maria Pepe Marti, but everyone calls him Pepe Marti. And then in MP Motorsport, we have Oliver Goethe and Richard Verschoor. In High-Tech TGR, we have Luke Browning and Dino Beganovic. In Prima Racing, we have Sebastian Montoya and Gabriele Mini. Sebastian Montoya is the son of former Formula 1 driver Juan Pablo Montoya. Dams Lucas Oil, we have Kush Maney and Jack Crawford. In Art Grand Prix or ART Grand Prix, we have Victor Martin and Ritomo Miata. In Rodin Motorsport, we have Amaury Cordial and Alexander Dunn. We have in AIX Racing, Kian Shields and Joshua Dirksen. In Trident, we have Max Esterson and Sammy Megatuneth. And in Van Amersfoort Racing, also known as VAR, is John Bennett and Rafael Villagomez. Now, a little side thing that you might want to know is that there are 2 races for the junior formulas, a sprint race and a feature race, and the feature race is in the order that everyone qualified in, followed by whereas with the sprint race, the top 10 gets reversed, so whoever qualified first starts 10th and whoever qualified 10th starts first, and this goes for all of the other formulas as well, apart from Formula 1. And just so you're aware, that qualifying is a little bit different in that sort of way. And in these in this whole race rundown, we will only talk about the sprint race and the feature race for each race up until Silverstone sprint race. That's because we will go into more about qualifying and free practice in the race rundowns from the Silverstone race onwards. Okay, so let's start with the first race, which was the sprint in Melbourne. This was the only race in Melbourne this year as a result of the fact that it was raining too heavily for the feature race to occur. So in first place we had Joshua Dirksen for AIX, then we had Leonardo Fornioli in second place for Invicta Racing, then we had Luke Browning for High-Tech, and then we had Richard Verschoor for MP Motorsport, then we had Roman Stanek for Invicta Racing, and then in 6th we have Sebastian Montoya for Prima Racing, and then Gabriele Mini also from Prima Racing in 7th, then Joseph Maria Pepe Marti, and from now on I'll call him just Pepe Marti as that's how he is referred to in every single race that I've watched. He's from Campos Racing and he was in 8th, Alexander Dunn in 9th for Rodin Motorsport, Arvid Lindblad in 10th for Campos Racing, Oliver Goethe for MP Motorsport in 11th, Ritomo Miata for Arch Grand Prix Prix in 12th, and then Rafael Villagomez in 13th. He is for VAR Racing, Van Amersfoort Racing. And then Dino Boganovic in 14th. He's for High Tech TGR, as well as Luke Browning. And then 15th, Amaury Cordial. He's in Roden Motorsport. Kushmani, he is for Dams Lucas Oil in 16th. Kian Shields, AIX Racing in 17th. John Bennett in 18th for Van Amersfoort Racing. And then we had 4 that did not complete the race, and that was Jack Crawford, Victor Martin, Max Esterson and Sami Megatunov. Jack Crawford is part of Dams Lucas Oil, Victor Martins for Art Grand Prix, Max Esterson and Sami Megatunov are both for Trident. So that was Melbourne. And then the second race was the Sakhir Sprint in Bahrain, where Pepe Marti won the race for Campos. Then Richard Verschoor was second for MP, and third was Dino Boganovic for High Tech, Oliver Goethe for MP in 4th, Arvid Lindblad for Campos in 5th, Rafael Villagomez in 6th for VAR, and then Gabriele Mini is 7th for Prima, Leonardo Fornioli for Invicta in 8th, Ritomo Miata in Art Grand Prix in 9th, Luke Browning for High Tech in 10th, Amaury Cordial in Rodin for 11th, 12th Jack Crawford for Dams, 13th Sami Megatunov for Trident, Victor Martens in 14th for Art, Roman Stanek in 15th for Invicta, Kushmani in 16th for Dams, John Bennett in VAR for in 17th, Kian Shields in 18th for AIX, Alexander Dunn in 19th for Rodin, and then Sebastian Montoya for Prima, Max Esterson in for Trident, and Josh Dirksen for AIX did not complete the race. And now let's go into the feature race for the Sakhir Grand Prix. From now on I won't mention which team everyone drives for because you get the idea. So in first place for the Sakhir feature race was Alexander Dunn, then in second it was Luke Browning, in third it was Leonardo Fornioli, in fourth it was Pepe Marti, in fifth Victor Martin, and then in sixth Richard Verschoor, in seventh Dino Boganovic, in eighth Arvid Lindblad, in ninth Gabriele Mini, in 10th Joshua Dirksen, in 11th Oliver Goethe, in 12th Rafael Villagomez, in 13th Amaury Cordial, and then 14th Ritomo Miata, 15th Sami Megatunov, 16th Jack Crawford, 17th Roman Stanek, 18th Kushmani, 19th Sebastian Montoya, 20th John Bennett, 21st Max Esterson, and 22nd Kian Shields. So nobody had the bad luck of not finishing the race. Everyone managed to end safely and soundly. So now let's move on to the next race, which was the Jeddah Sprint. Okay, so for the Jeddah Sprint, Arvid Lindblad won the race, followed by Pepe Marti, then Alexander Dunn in third, Richard Verschoor in fourth, Roman Stanek in fifth, Gabriele Mini in sixth, Leonardo Fornioli in seventh, eighth Victor Martin, ninth Luke Browning, 10th Kushmani, Oliver Goethe in 11th, Josh Dirksen in 12th, 13th Sebastian Montoya, 14th Amaury Cordial, 15th Dino Boganovic, 16th Sami Megatunov, 17th Rafael Villagomez, 18th Max Esterson, 19th Ritomo Miata, and 20th John Bennett, with two people not completing the race, which was Kian Shields and Jack Crawford. Now let's talk about the feature race for Jeddah. Okay, now for the feature race for Jeddah, 20 people managed to finish the race and 2 being out before it ended. So let's start with the ones that finished, shall we? So in first place it was Richard Verschoor, in second Jack Crawford, in third Victor Martin, and then in fourth Leonardo Fornioli, in fifth Pepe Marti, sixth for Luke Browning, seventh Arvid Lindblad, eighth Alexander Dunn, ninth Gabriele Mini, 10th Kushmani, 11th Joshua Dirksen, 12th Roman Stanek, 13th Dino Boganovic, 14th Oliver Goethe, 15th Amaury Cordial, 16th Ritomo Miata, 17th Rafael Villagomez, 18th Max Esterson, 19th Kian Shields, 20th John Bennett, and the 2 that were out were Sebastian Montoya and Sami Sami Megatunov. And now let's move on to the next race, which was Imola. So for the Imola sprint, everyone managed to finish the race. With Jack Crawford being the winner, followed by Arvid Lindblad in second, Luke Browning in third, Victor Martin in fourth, Alexander Dunn in fifth, Ritomo Miyata in sixth, Leonardo Fornioli in seventh, Roman Stanek in eighth, ninth was Sebastian Montoya, 10th was Oliver Goethe, 11th was Joshua Dirksen, 12th was Dino Boganovic, 13th was Kush Maini, 14th was Rafael Villagomez, 15th was Gabriel Mini, 16th was Pepe Marti, 17th was Max Esterson, 18th was Kian Shields, 19th was John Bennett, 20th was Amaury Cordial, 21st was Sami Megatunov, and 22nd was Richard Verschoor. So now let's move on to the feature race of Imola. In the feature race for Imola, we have in first Alexander Dunn, followed by Luke Browning in second, third Dino Boganovic, Arvid Lindblad in fourth, Leonardo Fornioli in fifth, Jack Crawford in sixth, Oliver Goethe in seventh, Sebastian Montoya in eighth, Richard Verschoor in ninth, Sami Megatunov in 10th, Keenan Shields in 11th, Victor Martin in 12th, Joshua Dirksen in 13th, Pepe Marti in 14th, 15th we had Amaury Cordial, 16th was Ritomo Miyata, 17th we had Roman Stanek, 18th Gabriele Mini, 19th Max Esterson, 20th John Bennett, Kush Maini in 21st, and the only person who did not finish the race was Rafael Villagomez. And now let's move on to Monaco. So for the sprint race in Monaco, we had 18 finish the race, with Kush Maini winning the race, followed by Gabriel Mini in second, Luke Browning in third, Jack Crawford in fourth, in fifth we have Richard Verschoor, sixth we have Sebastian Montoya, seventh Leonardo Fornioli, eighth Arvid Lindblad, ninth Alexander Dunn, 10th Ritomo Miyata, 11th Roman Stanek, 12th Oliver Goethe, 13th Max Esterson, 14th Amaury Cordial, 15th Dino Boganovic, 16th Sami Megatunov, 17th Victor Martin, 18th we had Rafael Villagomez, and the four that were unable to finish the race were Pepe Marti, John Bennett, Kian Shields and Joshua Dirksen. And now let's move on to an even more chaotic feature race for Monaco. So the Monaco feature race was very chaotic, which was because there was a massive pile-up and only 13 drivers finished the race. So Jack Crawford won that race, followed by Leonardo Fornioli in second, Sebastian Montoya in third, Luke Browning in fourth, in fifth we had Arvid Lindblad, in sixth Kush Maini, seventh Roman Stanek, eighth Amaury Cordial, ninth Rafael Villagomez, 10th Oliver Goethe, 11th John Bennett, 12th Sami Megatunov, and 13th Kian Shields. And the people who did not finish the race because they were involved in the pilot were Gabriele Mini, Pepe Marti, Josh Dirksen, Max Esterson, Dino Boganovic, Alexander Dunn, Richard Verschoor, Ritomo Miyata and Victor Martin. Now let's move on to Barcelona. So for the Barcelona sprint race, we had 19 finish the race, with the winner being Richard Verschoor, in second Alexander Dunn, and then third Rafael Villagomez, fourth Jack Crawford, fifth Victor Martin, sixth Luke Browning, seventh Leonardo Fornioli, eighth Arvid Lindblad, ninth Sami Megatunov, 10th Amaury Cordial, 11th Sebastian Montoya, 12th Kian Shields, 13th Ritomo Miyata, 14th Pepe Marti, 15th Dino Boganovic, 16th Kush Maini, 17th Roman Stanek, 18th Oliver Goethe, 19th Max Esterson, and the three people who were out were John Bennett, Gabriele Mini and Joshua Dirksen. So now let's talk about the feature race for Barcelona. In the Barcelona feature race, we had only one person not finish the race. So the winner was Arvid Lindblad, followed by Sebastian Montoya in second, Richard Verschoor in third, Jack Crawford in fourth, in fifth Alexander Dunn, sixth Pepe Marti, seventh Kush Maini, eighth Victor Martin, 19th Ritomo Miyata, 10th Gabriele Mini, 11th Roman Stanek, 12th Sami Megatunov, 13th Amaury Cordial, 14th Max Esterson, 15th Dino Boganovic, 16th Oliver Goethe, 17th Joshua Dirksen, 18th John Bennett, 19th Kian Shields, 20th Luke Browning, and in 21st we had Leonardo Fornioli, and the only person who did not finish the race was Rafael Villagomez. So now let's talk about Spielberg. Okay, so for the sprint race for Spielberg, we had Pepe Marti finishing first, Joshua Dirksen in second, Roman Stanek in third, Richard Verschoor in fourth, Sebastian Montoya in fifth, sixth we had Alexander Dunn, seventh Victor Martin, eighth we had Ritomo Miyata, Miata, 9th Rafael Villagomez, 10th Max Esterson, Oliver Goethe in 11th, Kian Shields in 12th, Amaury Cordial in 13th, Gabriele Mini in 14th, 15th John Bennett, 16th Leonardo Fornioli, 17th Kushmaini, and the people that were out, there were quite a few of them. It was Sami Megatuneth, then we had Jack Crawford, Arvid Lindblad, Dino Bogdanovic, and Luke Browning. So now let's talk about the feature race for Spielberg. In the feature race, we did have 5 people once again not finishing the race, but the winner was Richard Verschoor, followed by Leonardo Fornioli in 2nd, Jack Crawford in 3rd, Sebastian Montoya in 4th, Luke Browning in 5th, 6th we had Pepper Marty, we had 7th Victor Martin, 8th Roman Stanek, Dino Bogdanovic in 9th, Sami Megatuneth 10th, Rafael Villagomez in 11th, 12th Arvid Lindblad, 13th Joshua Dirksen, 14th John Bennett, Max Esterson in 15th, 16th Kushmaini, 17th Oliver Goethe, and then the people that were out were Gabriele Mini, Amaury Cordial, Kian Shields, Alexander Dunn, and Ritomo Miata. And now let's talk about Silverstone sprint race. So on this final one, before we start including F2 in the Monday race rundowns, is Silverstone, and in first we had Leonardo Fornioli, his first win in F2, followed by Sebastian Montoya in 2nd, Roman Stanek in 3rd, Kushmaini in 4th, Joshua Dirksen in 5th, in 6th Jack Crawford, Richard Verschoor in 7th, 8th we had Victor Martin, 9th Arvid Lindblad, 10th Pepe Marti, 11th Oliver Goethe, 12th Luke Browning, 13th Sami Megatuneth, 14th Gabriele Mini, John Bennett in 15th, and then 16th Rafael Villagomez, 19th Kian Shields, 18th Dino Bogdanovic, 19th Amaury Cordial, 20th Ritomo Miata, 21st Max Esterson, and the only person that did not finish the race was Alexander Dunn, who had a complete wheel damage situation where he touched with Gabriele Mini, and it sent his right wheel into a nightmare of a scenario where it eventually just flew off the rim. So now let's talk about the standings. So the standings up until the sprint race of Silverstone are as Richard Verschoor with 116 points in first, Leonardo Fornioli in second with 96, Jack Crawford with 91 in third, Alexander Dunn with 90 in fourth, Luke Browning with 83 in fifth, Arvid Lindblad in 6th with 79, Pepe Marti 67 in 7th, and then Sebastian Montoya in 8th with 62, Victor Martins with 50 in 9th, Dino Bogdanovic 31 in 10th, for Roman Stanek with 29 in 11th, Kushmaini with 26 in 12th, Joshua Dirksen with 23, and then Gabriele Mini with 21, Oliver Goethe with 12, Rafael Villagomez with 10, Ritomo Miata with 6, Amaury Cordial with 2, Sami Megatuneth with 2, and then Max Esterson, Kian Shields, and John Bennett with 0 points. And that is for all 22 drivers up until the sprint race of Silverstone. And obviously through time that will change and move about once more. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Formula Amateur. Don't forget to check out the Be The Change Media Network for all of your podcasting needs, as well as merch on BeTheChangeMediaNetwork.com. Remember to check out all of my lovely colleagues on the platform. Have a lovely rest of your weekend, and I will come back to you on Monday with a race rundown for Silverstone with F1 and F2 results. See you then. Goodbye.